Here. So Larry Goldberg is here because, of course, it is Good News Monday, and we do have good news, Larry. Tesla was up for the day again in a down market. Who knows why, but we could have a couple of speculations on that. But before we get into that, I think much more interesting is always the personal reactions, that you're having right now. And it must have been hard this weekend to decide between version 12.3 or Cybertruck. How did you decide what you were going to try?
It wasn't a problem.
It wasn't a problem. Okay.
Cybertruck won out, hands down. I mean, I took my neighbors for a drive and they were belting out, to Taylor Swift. I took my friends. We had dinner guests last night. We all went for a ride. And then there was a Tesla gathering, I think, like the owners club.
Right.
And I took the truck down there, which is a surprise to them. They were expecting a truck. The gentleman did get another Cybertruck. He was coming down there, but I went down there and man, we were mobbed, absolutely mobbed. And then, I let everybody sit in and, just crawl over the truck. It was a great hit. And then I took people for rides. And I did a lot of rides. I don't even remember how many rides I posted. I said, maybe 20 people, but it was probably closer to, I don't know, 40, 50 people. Anyway, took a lot of people for a ride, not long rides, short rides. No. And everybody was blown away. I mean, the overwhelming, response was just how quiet it was in the cabin. It is easily the quietest Tesla. I mean, not just the quietest Tesla. It's one of the quietest cars I've ever driven in.
Right.
And I'm including the Bentleys and the Rolls Royces and the Mercedes. It is so quiet that, when you really put down the foot, you can actually hear the whine of the electric motor. But it's got this incredible sound system. I mean, just next level. And it is amazing. But all in all, listen, Elon said this is the best car they've ever made. And I have to tell you, it is easily the best car they've ever made. It is an amazing vehicle. And boy, does it get attention. I mean, we were all laughing as we were driving around, whether it was my granddaughters or my guests or the folks I was giving rides to, just how many people whipped out their phones as soon as I passed. There were people hanging out of their car with the phones on. And when I parked, we went to a restaurant last night. There was, people were, is that the Cybertruck? The FedEx guy who arrived this afternoon said, what is that? Gets a lot of attention, and it's just a great car. I tell you, I'm so happy to have that car. I am itching to take it on the road. I mean, talk about in two minds. I've got to go on Monday next week. I'm going, to Europe for 3 months.
Right.
I kind of don't want to go.
Well, but Larry, put it on an airplane, get it shipped over there.
Yeah, right. I think it's illegal, right? They all tell me it's illegal.
Illegal in Europe. Well, it probably depends on which.
I don't put much credence in there in that. I think I've heard that actually it's not so illegal. There are actually vehicles larger than that. But anyway.
So Motor Trend, they just did a review today, a YouTube review on the off-road capabilities. They kind of made it about the car in general, the Cybertruck in general, but they did take it off-road. He was of two minds. I mean, it was really funny. He was so complimentary in the beginning, loves the way it looks, et cetera, et cetera. Then he picked it apart, little pieces here and there, things that maybe, might be unique to the truck he was actually using. He talked about panel gaps. Larry, what do you think about the build?
On panel gaps. My car is perfect. So I will tell you, the gap is wider than you would get on a steel body car,
Okay.
on a form body car.
Right.
But that is the way it is going to be. And that is the way it is built to be. And it's perfect.
Okay.
So why do you not want panel gaps? You don't want panel gaps because they're unsightly.
Right.
Because very often they are at angles to
Right.
each other, and it looks terrible. These panels are like perfect. They're like absolutely ruler perfect. And so I think that's a nonsense, and that people just have to get used to the stainless steel. It has to be that way, and it looks great.
Then he had a complaint about the visibility, and he was talking about the visibility of the front, even the front view as you're going around corners. What did you think?
Look, there is no question there is a visibility issue, just as there is in the X, in the side, in the A pillar, in that front pillar. That does block some space. I've had that in other SUVs before. I mean, my wife had a Hyundai that you literally could not see, but it hasn't impeded my experience. When people ask me, what problems have you got? I always say there's that pillar that does restrict the view. Going around the corner is not a problem. In fact, I find the view to be spectacularly good. Other than that, just that that pillar does obscure the view for that space.
Right. Now he said he complained that the rear view mirror in the screen, not the actual view mirror, but the one in the screen, he complained that it only gave you a view about 6 car lengths back, which I think would be enough. But do you feel like it doesn't?
He's full of it. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because every single person that I gave a ride to yesterday, and there was a lot of people,
Yeah.
the first thing they commented is, wow, that's a fantastic rear view camera.
Interesting.
And it is. It gives you very great detail. And here's the value add. I've complained about my X splitting the driver information panels between the front view and the video screen. This car only has the video screen, and that's like my 3. I love it. It makes all the world difference to me, because in the X, I'm constantly missing information on one or the other screen. And it took me the whole year I had it to get used to which screen has got which information. And even then it's not great, because the front screen has got, short-term navigation, and the large screen has got long-term navigation. I want both. I want to see both in the same venue. Now, with the rear view on the video, you get the best of all worlds, because you don't have to look at a rear view mirror up there. Everything you need is in the same glance. It's fantastic. In fact, I want to remove that mirror off completely, because even when I've got the tonneau cover down, I don't want to look at that mirror. I want to look at, the information panel that I've got, which is perfect for me. It's just a personal preference. But everybody commented how incredibly clear that view was. So I'll tell you what would be good. Just one thing. There is you can press the video button to see all your cameras. Yeah. That's really valuable. And that would be a really great thing. That's a really great thing to have. The only problem is you have to slide it up or down as to whether the large camera is on the front or on the rear.
I see.
I would prefer to have all 4 at the same time. Or I guess I could just slide it up to the rear. But I don't know. I haven't even checked to see if I can, reorient it.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that yet. Yeah.
So this fellow was pretty funny. As I said, he was of two minds. He gets done with the whole review. He talks about he said the ride quality was nothing to write home about. It was fine, but nothing to write home about.
Whoa.
Where others have talked about it being Rolls Royce like. I was like, okay,
It is absolutely
how,
Rolls Royce.
how could people come out with such a
Who's
different?
this guy? What magazine?
It was Road and Track. I'm sorry, Motor Trend.
Motor Trends. Okay. Okay.
So then at the end, though, so he's all done. He's talking about, well, the Rivian, this and this. And his final statement was, it was exciting, exhilarating, and easily the best Tesla he's ever driven. So I don't know.
It is, it is the best Tesla I've ever driven. I'd have to listen to it to hear what he has to say, but I will tell you, I like the Rivian. I like the Rivian truck. It's got a great ride. It's easily the best classical truck out there. I mean, easily. The build quality on the Rivians I've driven in and I've seen is not that great. Some of it is actually quite poor, and that's fine. They're getting underway, but it is no Cybertruck. I mean, the Cybertruck is really next level on every on the scale of every parameter you want to name.
All right. Well, turning to other Tesla news, we had the information today that Tesla is back on Facebook.
I know
that they're beginning to advertise on Facebook. And so did you have an opinion on whether that was a wise move, a good move, not a great move?
Great move. It's a great move. They should have done it years ago. They shouldn't have gone off Facebook. I mean, I've been a proponent of advertising for a very long time. I don't think that Tesla has to advertise in the classical vein on television. I would be opposed to spending that kind of money on that kind of medium, but I'm very strongly in favor of Tesla being front and center, certainly, on social media, and definitely in, venues that are close to the spirit of Tesla. So auto shows, why they haven't been going to auto shows makes no sense to me. And also, I think they should be holding events.
Yes.
Really well publicized events globally, Tesla gatherings for Tesla fans and for people who want to know all about Tesla. They should be spending real money on, glitzy, exciting events with light shows and fireworks. I don't know about fireworks. I'm getting ahead of myself, but on real events that get excitement, bring Taylor Swift, bring some characters, get a wide range of demographic, interest, but they haven't really reached out beyond word of mouth. And I know Elon believes in the word of mouth, and so do I. But, I've often said on your channel, and I'll say it again, Apple created Apple with one
commercial.
one commercial at the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but you have to establish a venue for people to get to know the spirit of the company. Apple did that magnificently, and Tesla haven't done it.
Yeah, I think one of the recommendations that I made back in the Elon Musk mission was that they go out to, grab parking lots that are not in use, sporting venues and other places where they are not using the parking lots during the day or during some part of the day, and take out 5 demo cars or 10 demo cars and let people drive them. Even have a 0 to 60 space where people can, do the test drive from 0 to 60. I mean, I would think you would have a line of people all day long doing that. And that would give a lot of people the opportunity to drive it. But with that in mind, in terms of test drives, the other big announcement today was that Tesla is going to have force people. Well, okay, I doubt if they'll force people, but they're going to make sure that they're the folks at when they turn over the car to a new owner, that the customer service person who's turning over that car now will take them on a test ride with full FSD. Oh, well, not full, I'm sorry, with FSD, whatever status it is, engaged, so that they can walk them through and show them how FSD works. Brilliant, great, okay.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. They have to do that. Now, the truth of the matter is that when you go to get your car, you line up. I mean, with everybody, that's just the way it's done. No matter whether you're royalty or whatever, you line up to sign up you get your ownership thing done, your registration done, I guess it is. And then they hand you the key.
And you drive away.
I've seen them give some guidance, but the truth is that I haven't never needed any guidance at all.
No.
I mean, I got my 3 in the wild, mad days where you were in line to register your car, and it took you an hour and a half to get to the front of the line. Nowadays, it's not as bad as that, but they hand you the card and say good luck.
Yes.
Not quite that. I saw them helping some people understand what they're looking at and so on. Because most Tesla owners really do their homework and they know a lot about the car and they've been prepped.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of material out, on YouTube and elsewhere as to how to go about it. But yeah, I mean, it would be huge to put the FSD on and show them and then let them experience it. And so that they go out with a sense of, oh, I've got it for this period of time, for this test period, let me use it, and I know how to do it, and I've got confidence in doing it.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to require, the last thing they'll do is that the customer service person will say, do you want us to turn it off? So it's a kind of a close, if you will. Like,
But am I wrong to say that everybody gets it for a test period now?
well, I think that might be part of the deal, but the stuff I saw wasn't totally clear on that.
Okay.
But that would certainly make sense. If you're going to do this test ride, then don't make it, you have to pay $12,000 today or $200 a month. Make it, okay, if you want us to leave this on for the next 90 days, it's free. And then after that, you have to pay.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
I like it. I like it. I think it's good. So then let's see, in the market in general, unless, did you have anything else on Tesla today that you noticed? Okay, we had new home sales were down slightly. Shockingly, everybody was surprised that new homes were down slightly in February, but also a lower median price. Now, Larry, I've already, maybe when you've been on, I'm not sure, kind of complained about this whole issue of median price, which would be almost meaningless, I think, especially on new home prices, because that's just going to depend on what the overall the makers, the builders have been building at that time. I mean, it's so. But anyway, down to almost 400,000, which would be kind of a low number.
That's a good number because it means that homes are becoming affordable. Now, does that mean that the builders are, maybe taking down the size? Home sizes have grown and grown and grown,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
finishes have gone up and up and up. And maybe builders have realized that, maybe we should build a little bit less and charge a little bit less and bring the median price back within affordable range.
In California, what they've done is taken away property. So when we were looking for this house and we were looking around, everything was, even if it was not a townhouse, it had a townhouse lot,
It's incredible. I mean, I've seen that here, we, sized appropriately when, I was getting on in age, and we don't have an enormous house. it's bigger than the average house, but it's not enormous. But our garden is fantastic. We've got, I mean, just incredible, incredible grounds, which is really why we were attracted to this house.
Sure.
But across the main road, there's a development of approximately the same size houses,
Yeah.
but they're like, 15 feet apart, 10 feet apart,
Yeah.
and not much in space in the front or the back.
Right.
And it looks terrible.
Yes, it does. It not only looks terrible, yeah, it looks terrible, and you don't have that beautiful, spacious feel. So that's one of the things that they're doing, I think, is because let's face it, the property cost you more than the house.
Yeah, and it
Most
does, having a smaller space does reduce your cost of ownership quite significantly. But it's so funny to see these 5,000-6,000 square houses on, a piece of land that, the dog can't run around.
Right. Anyway, so I don't think this will be a trend at all. I think the new home issue will be fine. Also, they said inventories are up a little bit, but that also could have been a little bit of an overhang from the colder winter. They said that most of the problem was in the Northeast. So that sounds like it was related to the January was a pretty cold month. And then the overall market was down today. I didn't see any real news that would have indicated why it should have been down. I wonder now, Larry, you've been watching this a long time, as have I. The PCE is going to come out on Friday, which is also the first day of a 3-day weekend. The stock market is closed on Friday. Markets hate 3-day weekends. They hate when they don't know what's going to. I'm just wondering, do you think the market is going to be tepid all week and concerned about the PCE?
I think the market is looking for direction. When the market's looking for direction, it can fluctuate down. It's had a hell of a rise over the last, couple of months. Hell of a
big rise.
And a lot of that was NVIDIA. NVIDIA is kind of, the big kahuna. And I have a whole lot of observations to make about NVIDIA, but for another time. But and by the way, I love the company, I was a shareholder of the company for a long time. But I think that the market's kind of looking for direction at this point. And until it finds something really clear, I think it's going to drift backwards and forwards. Tesla wasn't down.
No, it was up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah. So one article that I read this morning was saying that we have crosswinds, a lot of crosswinds right now. And one of those that was mentioned, Larry, was that the consumer is at some point going to run out of money. Now, you may remember, because we talked about this before.
We thought this may happen. Yeah.
Well, Bank of America said last year they thought that the consumer would run out in the third quarter. Other people thought they would run out sooner. Now it's Bank of America who is saying that the consumer is actually way more resilient than they expected.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still saying, it was the Bank of America who was actually in this article saying that they are thinking, I mean, the consumer has been, this whole situation has been driven by the consumer, that it could be the consumer that will be the one that gets us a downturn. Yeah.
Yeah, we should start watching credit card debt.
Oh, yeah.
That's the canary in the coal mine. We should start watching credit card debt because, that really will presage the consumer, not withdrawing, but significantly slowing down. So that's something worth looking at.
Yeah, well, the Bank of America was looking at credit card debt as well as average deposits, both checking account and savings account deposits. And at the time, those checking accounts and savings accounts were in good shape, and the credit cards were in good shape. But they were saying over time. Now this was probably last October, November when they.
I remember that. Yeah.
And but now we do know that credit card use is way up, or the total, because I think in January it wasn't that bad. It was kind of flat. But in February, I think we're going to see the credit card use expanded again. And we have overall debt. We're seeing more and more defaults, more and more late payments on credit cards. So all those things that one would expect, they are taking place. But the crosswind I think that they're talking about here is also that the food and the gasoline are still expensive and getting more expensive. And people are noticing it. People even that are middle class, upper middle class, they're still seeing it. They're walking in the grocery store and it's costing them more.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't look at credit card debt and banks accounts because credit card debt is really the same indicator.
Yeah.
I mean, if they diverge, then something completely new is happening. And
right.
that maybe is the check against the divergence. But credit card debt is such a strong indicator. And, back in 2008, when the crisis hit, it became so clear to me. I mean, I wasn't looking at anything but credit card debt. That was, to me, that was the canary.
Yeah. Okay, well, Larry, we're going to cut you loose because I know you've got a dinner appointment. I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead with the program, and we will do the market, the after hours for Tesla, the pre-market, etc. We'll do that. But go ahead and enjoy. I'm probably going to take your Cybertruck and have some more folks get a ride, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that'll be.
Our host will be very, very keen to take a ride. I happen to know that.
You happen to know this particular host.
Yeah.
Very excited about it. All right. Well, great, Larry. Thank you so much for being on as usual to bring in Good News Monday.
Take care, Andy.
So where are markets now? Well, we start off with Tesla, who is up about $1.20 in the after hours. So maybe the rest of the market appreciates that Tesla's on Facebook. Maybe they appreciate this new idea of giving those test drives of the FSD to brand new purchasers. I don't know. There could be maybe there's other reasons, but nice to see Tesla continuing up even higher in the after hours after finishing higher for the day. With the bonds, we're doing this just a little early, so we don't have all the bonds, but we do have the 10-year is down 0.4 basis point right now at 424.9, just under that 425. So it looks like my 425 does turn out to be kind of a stopping point along the way here. All right, then we've got the oil up just 4 cents in the after hours. Or the pre-market, the oil price is now at $81.99. So that's, and it's been a little higher than that. I noticed a little while ago. So we're really looking at $82 a share here. I mean, $82 a barrel. And Brent is now at 86.68, still almost that $5 range again between the two. Not quite, just under that $5 number. Natural gas at 161, continuing to be soft. We have got the dollar continuing to be a little off of where it was, but still very strong. We've got gold at down $3.60, 21.72. So right again, back in that range that it was, not all the way back up there to the 22s, but also not falling back down. So staying fairly solid up there. Copper down 0.14% in the pre-market, and that puts it right at 401, which is where it was this morning when we reported. So it hasn't really changed all day, up and down a little bit, but sitting at $4.01. Then you got Bitcoin. Here we go, up 4,798, back over 70,000 again, 70,620. So nothing like volatility. That 7.22% so far today up on that one. Okay, what about the equity futures? They're fairly lightly up. So you get the Dow up 14, S&P up 4, and the NASDAQ up 1950. That would be Dow up 0.04%, the S&P up 0.09%, and the NASDAQ futures up 0.11%. So the NASDAQ a little stronger than the other ones tonight. Okay, so if you didn't pay any attention to it earlier today, maybe you were busy, maybe you just missed out, because Brian White and I did a video a little while ago where we went around the world and we took a look at all of the gigaplants all the way around the world. What's going on in Shanghai? What's going on in Berlin, et cetera, et cetera. You know, Brian's always really got his ear to the ground on that. And so please, if you didn't check it out earlier, there is the card right there to go check that out. Tomorrow, as usual, Brian White will be back again for the midday show, and he and I are going to be talking about, what did we talk? Oh, we kind of did a potpourri. We kind of talked about a little this and a little that. I think you'll like the show. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs with it. And then tomorrow evening, of course, is Nicholas Gibbs, as always. So be sure to hit the like and the subscribe and the obviously the notify button if you'd like to be reminded of those shows, and then join Patreon. Thank you so much for those who have. Thank you just for watching, of course. But if you haven't joined Patreon yet, that would be a big help. And now we do have that $3 level, so maybe that's affordable for you right now. Don't spend it if you don't have it, but if you got it, it would be nice to have a few more join this month. All right, that's all I got for you right now. And as always, it has been great talking to you.